Okay. Second edition of Tuesday Tent Talk. We have not gotten yelled at by the people who had the name originally, so we're still going with Tent Talk. But how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Got some new equipment, new camera, new mic, so
Good.
Pretty good.
Let's try. I'm just going to talk and you just interrupt me. I want to see if it messes up. Blah, blah, blah. Hey,
Blah,
my name
blah.
is Adam.
Wow.
It's better.
It sounds way cleaner.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
That's nice.
Good. All right. So we only got, there's 7 people here now, but Randy's here. Hi, Randy. Party time. Don't screw it up.
Oh, that was horrible. I had the volume in the video going while I was doing this. It was bad.
Right. So every week we're going to kind of start off with a topic. Everyone can feel free to ask any questions they want about the topic or any question in general. But this week we're kind of just talking about trucks, like box trucks versus trailers. I use box trucks. You use a trailer.
Yes, I do. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Justin from Party Rental Knowledge, by the way, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know me.
Yeah, it's his channel's in the description this time.
Yep.
The last time it was kind of quick doing this. But so I run box trucks. I did have a trailer for like winter deliveries, so I didn't have to rent a box truck. I have a box truck because I have loading docks. You can just back right up to them and everything can go in there. And then the box trucks that I get have lift gates. So when you're on the job site, you just bring everything down. Box trucks are really only good when you have a loading dock. Otherwise, you're loading everything up into it every morning, lift gate or not lift gate. And that kind of sucks. Trailers are better when you have a grade level door or a ramp.
You have a forklift too. Forklifts are nice. If you don't have it's just an added expense.
That's true. There's a rental company near me. He's got a huge warehouse, no loading docks. Everything's done out of 26-foot trucks, and every morning they're loading stuff with forklifts, and it's a slow process.
Yep.
Yeah, it sucks.
It could be aggressive. You didn't start out of a box truck though?
When I started, I used my mom's SUV because I only had tents, nothing else. Then I had a Chevy S10 where I used the box of that, but I would have to go back to my garage after every delivery. Then I got an open trailer from Gander Mountain, so I could do all the jobs kind of in one day, but it was open, so if it got rained down, it sucked. And then once I started doing big weddings, I just started renting box trucks. But, yeah. So
how it goes. Start small.
Yeah, you're probably not going to start right off with a box truck.
I started with a trailer. But I actually started with snow plowing, and I took my 2500 and started to do inflatables. So then it was just legit. I've worked out of trailers before. I've hauled trailers before, and it was just the smart move. And I found a good deal on a nice size trailer. Everybody says like 16-foot trailer is their best. I use an 18-foot trailer with a V-neck. It's so easy to pull it around always. I don't even think about going in driveways. Like it's 50-50 if you get a box truck in a driveway, but trailers, like I don't even try it.
Right.
Not really.
So a lot of people when they're starting up, they may have an SUV or a truck already, and it would make sense to pick up a few $1,000 trailer. It's going to be pretty cheap. And you can get started right away. So it's like a lower cost of entry. You don't have to buy a box truck. Or if you're kind of scared of like renting trucks for a whole week or the whole summer, when you only need it 1-2 days a week, you have a truck or SUV, pick up a trailer. It's easy to get into, and then as you expand, you can get into box trucks.
I like trailers. You can use them as storage too. So say you start out as trailers, and you still have a truck that you pull around. And I see a lot of people do both in their operations sometimes.
Right.
Like, ironically, so they'll have the trailer loaded up and ready to go, like 3 of them.
Right.
And the box truck doing deliveries too.
There's a dude near me. He only does one wedding tent, and he's got a bunch of little 20 wides. And he has one trailer that just has all his wedding tent stuff in there. And he's got one trailer that has all his tent stuff because he does it out of his house. He doesn't have a big garage. So if he's on Friday he's doing 20 wides. He takes that trailer, and Wednesdays he's doing the wedding. He just takes the other trailer. Never has to unload it when he gets back.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I've heard people do that. There's a company near me, really, really big company. They built their warehouse so they can just drive through. It's all trailers. But when they do like a 40 wide wedding where I'm taking one truck, they're taking 3 trucks and trailers because they can't load everything in there because of the weight and whatever. So it's a lot of gas and a lot of drivers. But a lot of people do it out of trailers, and I don't see any problem with it. I prefer large trucks.
I've even seen people go like, say you have a train, like you can rent a giant train and go around, stuff like that. The small ones, it's just a tractor with a train body. Like they store the whole thing in a trailer.
Right.
Just leave it in the trailer, pull it up to the job when it needs it, and just add to the cost.
Right.
That's what a lot of people do.
Now, if you do have a trailer, before I say that, anyway, you can ask any questions you want. It's just we start off with a topic, just so that we're not waiting for questions. So you can ask anything you want, but we're starting with this. So if you do have a trailer, especially if you've got chairs and things that you benefit with a hand cart, you want one of the doors that comes down. And also for like $200, you can pick up these threshold things that fold up. So between the trailer and the trailer door, folds down, and then one at the bottom from the trailer door to the road folds down too, so you can easily get things up and not get stuck in that threshold.
What you want to do, I'm going to add to that, just so first of all, the hinge you use is a piano hinge. That's what you order. So that's all they're going to do is when they install it for you, you go to the shop, is they're going to order a freaking piano hinge, cut it to the size, and then you get a I'm not going to try and butcher the size, but you get a really, really thick piece of freaking plywood. Don't buy anything cheap or small. It's not used for this industry, especially if you're putting bounce houses up and down it or heavy stuff. It's not the way to go. And all you do is you cut that size and then you just put the piano hinge on there and it goes. The one that goes in between the actual trailer and the door, not the door flap going in and out, you're going to want to just cut out one of those thick pieces and just put it in every single time. You have to take it in and out. Most of the time I don't use it unless I'm putting a bunch of chairs in and out.
Right, yeah. I did actually do that in the beginning, but it kept like when we were pushing wheels up, it would like sometimes, jiggle around.
You put one piece flat and then you put another piece kind of like it so it wedges in there so it doesn't jiggle up. It's weird. You gotta make it like a unique piece. I know exactly what you're saying. I'll do a video on it one day.
Gotcha. So I was just tired of it, so I bought the piano hinge threshold thing for it.
Yep.
But Hector's got a question. I don't quite understand it. Running an 8x5x20 trailer, would you recommend it tires on the truck?
You have a giant trailer. I have a 24-foot car hauler too. He's got a giant. So I wouldn't recommend running it. I would recommend you using that as storage if you don't have a place to store things. I don't know what your storage situation is. I actually have one too, and I use it for storage. That's my backup. It's empty right now, so I'm happy, but I'm sad.
Right. All right, we got a non-trailer question, so let's move into tents. Yeah. Can you describe pain in the ass level for different types of tents? Pole, frame, sail. I'll start off with this one. So the pain in the ass with pole tents is really only the big ones, the 40 wides and up, is getting that center pole in. That is a workout on your back.
Both.
And can really mess you up over the years. So there's different things. Like I built a winch this year. I still haven't made a video out of it, but I built a winch to make it so much easier. And then frame tents suck because they take a long time to put together, depending. Once you get into the bigger ones with all these different pieces, just takes a long time to put together, needs more crew, and takes up a lot of space in the truck because of the long poles. And then they're heavy to get up, and you got to have jacks to get it up. Otherwise, that really sucks.
My spin-off. You're going still? Go ahead.
I got just one more. Sailcloth tents. So the sailcloth tent is a pain in the ass because it doesn't have corners. It's rounded. So you have to put weird kind of ratchets in, crisscross ratchets when you're putting up the ends. And then you want the sailcloth center poles to look nice, so you're not going to use the aluminum ones. So you have a few options. You have a one-piece piece of wood, which will break eventually. You have engineered wood, which is a whole bunch of pieces glued together, so it's strong in all directions. But that's like 500 pounds, and that sucks. And then the easiest way to do it is to get an aluminum pole and powder coat it to look like wood. But the second that gets damaged in the truck, now it's just got this big gash in the powder coat, and it's basically ruined. So that's what sucks. That's what I think sucks. What about you?
I'm going to come at it from a whole different level. Like, first of all, pain, it could be a very pain in the ass when, say you're setting up a 20 by 20 pole tent or a frame tent, but you just got somebody new, doesn't know what they're doing. And it's just you and them, or it all depends on your skill level you have with you too, because you can bust out 20 by 20, anything quick, very quick, if you have the right person that does it every day. But if you have that new person you're teaching, you're adding an extra half hour on the job. So if it's just you and him and you got nobody else to really go with you, so it's definitely aggressive starting out. So say you know everything and you go into it, but the people that are going to work with you don't know everything.
Right. So that's a general pain in the ass, just working with new people. But what about like what he's asking?
Tense wise, yeah, like basically everything you said, you pretty much nailed it. Like when it gets big, the bigger, the more pain the level is. You're going to need more people.
Equipment.
If you're more people, more equipment. If you're thinking of, okay, if you're coming at this, if the real question is what tents do I start out with, stuff like that, what tents are not a pain, it'd just be your average 20 wides frame or pole, no matter what, West Coast frame, high peak frame.
Right.
Can't go wrong.
Giscombes, I don't know how to say the name, Giscombes Rentals or Giscombes. He makes a very good point. Like, I usually suggest people get into pole tents, but he's down in South Florida. Hurricane winds, the winds off the ocean.
Yeah.
Definitely frame. So if you've got a really high windy area, I would definitely
exactly. They're way
frame.
sturdier tents. Way sturdier tents.
Yeah. So we got a question or an answer to that question earlier. Definitely use. Oh, he meant to say light truck tires. And then someone else who probably has a lot of experience with trailers says definitely use LT tires. So there's your answer. Gotcha. Sorry, guys. I don't know much about trailers. Everyone knew what the hell he was talking about.
I use the heavy rated tires if that's what it is or something like that.
Right.
You're replacing tires all the time. Sometimes it's I get a double axle trailer. Don't go with a single axle trailer.
Right. Well, I'm sure his double axle being 8 by 20 feet long.
Oh, his, yeah.
Yeah. But I sold my trailer. I was just done with it. The guy who does the dishes was using my truck and the trailer for dishes, and he beat up my truck all the time. So I was like, I'm done. I'm selling this trailer. You're buying a van. So then he bought a van. I like vans. Like, it's kind of like an in-between the truck and trailer, but you're really only using the van for work. It's not like you can undo your trailer and go with your truck somewhere. So if you got a van, they're nice because it's just you can back in it anywhere. You can back up real close and keeps everything dry still.
All depends on your volume load and what you're doing with it.
Right. For sure. Lee from the other YouTube channel, bartending, photo boothing, rental guy, uses his minivan for like everything. He just loads his minivan up.
He's got another trailer.
Yeah, I know. Oh, cool. But
yeah, nice new one. Small still.
Yeah. Oh, so he's saying, Giscomb's saying because he uses bistro lights, it's better on a frame, which is true because the frame doesn't flex. I've had bistro lights, basically just the whole wire just rip apart because it was so windy. So we started compensating for that. We used to have the string lights really, really tight so they were straight. Now we like loosen them a little, so it's just a little bit of an arch. So if the tent flexes in the wind, it's not going to rip those out. How long can a tent stay up? Pole versus structure versus sail. It all depends on the wind rating, the engineered wind rating. So if you can get pole tents that are engineered for 90-mile-an-hour winds at 3-second gusts, and those can stay up all year, or not in the winter. You can get pole tents that can stay up in the winter, but they're engineered to be stronger and way more expensive. Structures can stay up like indefinitely. You're just going to have to figure out some way to clean it because it's always going to get dusty. And sailcloth tents, I would not go more than like a week and a half. I don't know. Depends. Sailcloths are, they're really nice. It's a thin material. I wouldn't chance keeping it up for a month unless they're basically paying for the tent. And if it gets messed up, then you don't care.
Yeah, you definitely want to consider like maintenance on it. You know what I mean? The tent can last a lot longer with maintenance. You're going out there doing a little bit of upkeep. But then you also got to factor conditions where that tent is. If it's in an open field, there's less things going to happen to it besides wind. If it's underneath a bunch of trees in the end of fall, well, there's going to be a bunch of leaves on it that's going to stain it.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? If like there's just a whole bunch of factors there too.
I had a 30 by 40 up. I took a video of it. I'll make a video in a few days. I had a 30 by 40 up since COVID, pretty much since March. I took it down a few days ago, and the tent was perfectly clean. I knew it was going to get dusty, and I'm going to have to send it out to get washed. But what happened was, because all the dew in the morning and everything, you go under that tent, it was black everywhere. Even, the tent being up and drying every day, it just had moisture on it every day, and the inside was black. And I don't know if that's going to come off. Justin Kenyon, this one's for you. Are you pro tarp or anti tarp for inflatables? Before you answer, I want to say I made some shirts on Amazon called hashtag tarp life and hashtag tarping sucks. If anyone wants to go check those out. But do you
hashtag tarping sucks?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't listen. I got a friend. He'll tell you straight out. He got sued because somebody slipped and fell on a tarp. They're not mandatory. If you have to clean, if the tarp gets muddy, you have to clean a tarp and a bounce house. Most of the time, like maybe 3 times out of 10, the bounce house is saved from an extremely muddy event because of a tarp. For the most part, it's just that's going to be covered in mud, and you're cleaning that too. So it's just it's just more hassle, in my opinion. You got to worry about staking it down. You can slip on it more easily. It's hashtag tarping sucks. There's a bunch of reasons for it.
Right, and also it's just another thing to. I hear the argument is it's just another thing to clean, right? Like you could just clean the bounce house once. Or you clean the bounce house and you have to clean the tarp every time.
Exactly.
Right.
And you know your situations. Now, do I use a tarp in I do use tarps. Let's just say I don't ever. I'm not going to say that I don't ever use tarps. If I know like it's like complete dirt and it's just going to be a straight mud pit right off the bat, I'll put a tarp. Not like it's going to be muddy and inflatable either way, but I try and put a tarp. Trying to keep the mud out of certain areas if you can do it a little bit, but like rocky surfaces, gym floors, concrete, you want a tarp underneath so that it's just when you're jumping around, there's constant abrasion on the bottom surface. So you just have a tarp there for different protection for the most part.
Gotcha. You use those mats though, right? So are you using mats that?
Most of the time I use the mats, yeah, to keep the dirt off.
They come out of one place, or they come out of the exit. If it's a slide, if they come out of the exit and then go to the entrance, so you have mats going from both of those.
No, just at the entrance and exit.
Gotcha.
So then I'll have a tarp underneath that for the most part, but most of the time I don't do that. For like in New York, you should have the mats out, but I use if you're on a gym floor anywhere in the U.S. or a hard surface anywhere in the U.S., you should be using those mats, where it's regulated or not.
Right. There's I just was searching for the shirt. And I put them in the chat if anyone wants a hashtag tarp life or hashtag tarping sucks. Lee said he heard of bounce house companies that use a new tarp every time and give them to the client when they're done. That seems pretty legit. No, that's freaking. You got to charge another $20 for your bounce house then.
Tarps are not cheap. Tarps are not cheap at all.
Harbor Freight.
Still.
Yeah.
What kind of? You know what I mean? It's I don't see that. I'm curious on that.
Has anyone just tied a bunch of 10 by 10 canopy tents together for easy solution? I want to make like a 100 by 100 tent. So I went down to the ARA show a few years ago in Orlando, and there was this tent company who made these frame tents, which could easily go together. And he was like, oh yeah, we do 40 by 80s, 40 by 100s. We make big tents with these frame tents. And he designed a whole system so that they could go together real easy and be guttered all to the side. However, when you see the pictures from the outside, it looks cool, but from the inside, there's just all these poles everywhere in there, and there's no like good ceiling look. The ceiling is getting broken up every 20 or 40 feet, whatever you got. So it looks weird. Yeah, it can be done, but I thought it looked weird.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, so you could do a bunch of 10 by 10s to make 100 by 100. However, your guttering of, if it rains, water's just going to come in at all the corners and everywhere. Guttering them all would be a nightmare because you'd have to gutter all the way down the 100 feet and then gutter across the other way, but the gutters are going to run into each other. It would be impossible. You'd only have to be able to do it in like Arizona or Texas or something where it's not going to rain.
And when you hear the word gutter in the tent world, you're like, oh, gutter, gutter. No, you should be thinking, oh, gutter.
Yeah, gutters suck. They work half the time. Other times they don't. It's not a perfect solution. It helps a bit, but even the customer will complain. They'll be like, the water all went over here and messed up my yard or whatever. Gutters are. It's always better to use one piece tent than try to get two tents together and gutter them. It sucks.
If you're gonna gutter, I would say instead of trying to do like a frame or a pole, if you're gonna gutter anything, a high peak frame tent is pretty. Those are kind of the gutter system on that's nice because of the curvature.
Yeah, it goes off to either side.
Yeah,
but you can't take four 20 by 20s to make a 40 by 40 because all this water is going to go down
right in the center.
We got a question not for us, so hopefully Lee will answer this in the comments. Bartending guy, unless you live in a premium area where you could easily add a new tarp into every rental cost, I don't think it would work. Oh, it wasn't a question. It was just a comment. This is a good question. Do you use tent tops that are extensions? Because he does not, because he thinks it would take too much time. Your view. So you're talking about expandable tents with the lace line. So in 20 wides and 30 wides, I do not. All my 20 wides are one piece. My 30 by 40 and my 30 by 60s are one piece because yes, it would just take too much time to do that. I don't want to have a 20 by 40 that can also be a 20 by 30 and 20 by 40 and have to do that each time. It's more cost effective in the long run just to have the tent go up. 40 wides, you do need them in sections because there's no way you're going to be transporting a whole 40 by 100 around. It's got to be sectional.
Yeah, I do the same thing for the most part. I like my whole tops. I get enough parts if depends. Like for the most part, I try to have enough parts in my inventory so every single tent can go out and then some.
Right, exactly. Now, so here's an interesting thing. If you do get into 40 wides, if you pay attention to every single week ahead, say you got a 40 by 100 up, that is 4 tent sections. Now, that's 5 tent sections. So the next week, you know that you have a 40 by 80. So you can take the middle section out and keep these two laced together and these two laced together, roll these up together, all laced, don't take them apart. You have to have really, really big bags for this and then put them in the bags. And then when you go to the next job site, you just undo those 2 bags. You got 2 sections together, and then all you got to do is lace one lace line instead of 1, 2, 3. Saves a lot of time.
And all your 40 wides, I've been to your warehouse, so I can tell you. So like your 40 wides are like blue and red. Like you have them in red labeled bags and blue labeled, so you can tell. Okay, I turned blue to 2 sections this week, so I know. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I can do that because I don't have like a huge giant amount of 40 wides. Most companies, they just will take whatever 2 ends and whatever mids they need, and all the pieces get all mixed together or whatever. But I try to keep my 40 wide separate.
Yep, ends and mids.
What are the rules for heaters under a tent? How far from the top sides? Well, that actually depends on where you're at. So like a LB white tent heater, in some places no one cares. You can just, there's a vent that just goes under the sidewall. Other cities, they want it to be 10 feet away with a duct, and then the vent goes on the sidewall, and then the propane has to be another 10 feet away. It all depends. I think you might be asking about the patio heaters. I do patio heaters inside tents. However, I only put them near the center poles because if they were near the edge, I'm afraid it would like melt the vinyl that's right above it.
I do the same thing.
Right.
I don't have any of the big ear heaters too, so I couldn't even tell you on that.
Right. Is this Jordan? A1 Century Tents and Event Rentals?
Is it?
But
did he change it?
I don't know. He has a good point. He's done 20 by 100 and 10 by 10s, but it was made to do separate booths though. But it takes a lot longer than actually doing a real 20 by 100. So if you got a 20 by 100, just do that. If you only got 10 by 10s and you're just trying to make some money, yeah, do your 10 by 10s. Let's see. If you don't mind, Adam, would love to fly up when this whole COVID thing is over to get a better. Yeah, definitely. That'd be cool. I love it. Come on up. You work for free. I'll feed you and stuff. I'll make fun of you. We'll, check out the brides that we're setting tents up for. And yeah, you can definitely fly up.
I saw some action when I was with you. It was awesome.
Where? Who? Which?
You. I remember when I was delivery with you, there were some hot chicks.
Oh, that frame tent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But bounce house question. What's the best and worst places to buy bounce houses? Any companies not to buy from? You have one company that you say don't buy from.
Okay, I don't like to tell. Okay, so this is my motto now. This is what I like to say. So I can tell you way more companies to buy from than to not buy from. So it all depends on where you live, what type of deals they're offering, what you're looking for. I buy different types of inflatables from different types of companies. Then certain companies are just straight out like they do crazy stuff. So you're not, you know what I mean? So why would I be talking about them all the time? Because they're making stuff like fire trucks and wild stuff like that. But don't buy from Omega overseas. I don't like to buy overseas. I'm going to do a video on this one of these days. But there's reputable companies that basically have Chinese factories overseas and import all their goods here and sell them to you. So you have less risk. I like leisure activities. I buy a bunch of units from them. Jump Orange is nice on the West Coast. Then there's like premium inflatables like Magic Jump and stuff like that. So Jingo Jump is like a cheap company. I think they went out of business. I'm not sure, but I got a bunch of inflatables from them, super cheap. But I've heard everybody tell me they last for years. It just depends what you're looking for, what you're trying to do. So yeah, don't buy overseas. I don't ever hear anything good from that. You definitely want to buy whatever place you choose to buy, just ask around, because you can stay there and buy from one company and buy one inflatable and it's nice, but then you hear a whole bunch of stuff going on with another inflatable that's from the same company, but it's just like, oh, these ones are slides keep ripping or something like that, or seams keep popping on this line or something. It's weird. Like you want to be in the loop.
Right. Yeah, you should make a video and then put all the recommended companies in the description. What is your most rented dance floor size? What kind of floor is it? LED floor is worth the money. I'll get to that bit in a second. So my most rented size is 16 by 16 or 16 by 20. And then in my 30 wides, it's usually 12 by 16. I buy 4x4 pieces just because it's less pieces, takes up less room in the truck. It's just less to move around. I had I had a Palmer Steiner dance floor. I bought it all used and it was getting old and kind of crappy. I still have it. There was like 5 pieces I had to take out, but the male and female slots are not that big. It's a lot harder to get together than the newest Ferrari of dance floor. It's called Sico, S-I-C-O. It's a really expensive dance floor, but the male and female pieces are really like big and slide together really easy. Dance floor makes a crap ton of money. You may look at it and be like, I bought 40 pieces and it cost $20,000. That's a lot of freaking money, and it's Jesus Christ. And then my office manager just looked up the numbers, and he's like, yeah, but every single week you're making $2,000 on dance floor. So it's like, when you put it in perspective, you're like, all right, so in 10 weeks, this brand new dance floor that's awesome is paid for, and it's going to last another 15, 20 years if I take care of it. LED floors worth the money? Not unless you're in like a big, I would say a big population area like a city where people are going to spend the money on that and they want their party to outdo the next person. If you're in my area, the LED dance floor is going to go out once a year, if that. But if you have a big population with people who are willing to spend money and want to one-up the Smiths that live next door, I think LEDs are worth the money, but not for everyone.
Yeah, LED anything in the most part, because they make LED ping pong tables, LED chairs, LED furniture. You're not renting LED stuff out unless it's pretty much corporate for the most part, and a lot of corporate is in big areas, so don't expect that to be going out in a rural area.
Right, exactly. Hamilton Sotelo has 20 wides, thinking of going bigger. What do you recommend to buy and where? Any deals for IAPA and our tent and table tents any good? So I would go right up to a 30 by 60. If you're just doing 20 wides, 30 by 60 one piece. It's manageable. It's all one piece, fits in one bag. There's nothing different about putting it up. So it's easy to go from 20 wides to that. If you can't afford the 30 by 60, 30 by 40 is a good thing, but a 30 by 40 is not that much bigger than a 20 by 40. And you're not going to be getting those medium-sized weddings. With 30 by 60, you can do 100 people in with a dance floor, head table, and stuff like that. So I would go to 30 by 60. I did it backwards. I had 20 wides. I went to 40 wides, and then I went backwards and started buying 30 wides because people started asking for them. And yes, there will be deals during IAPA, I think. I don't know if the major tent companies do stuff with IAPA. But during the ARA show in February or March, which probably isn't going to happen, but they'll still have the deals. Everyone does crazy deals like 25% off or whatever for tents. So I would suggest Eureka or Aztec. That's who I use. I can't really speak of the other people. Speaking about tent and table, I've heard mixed things. It's like what Justin was saying about bounce houses. Sometimes a tent or bounce house is good from one company and then another one's not. So I've heard people have good experiences and I've heard people have bad, kind of equal. So I would say no. If you're getting equal feedback, I would just go with the companies that get mostly good feedback, but they're more expensive. Yeah. Go ahead.
You get what you pay for.
Exactly. Should you buy a throne chair? I have 2 throne chairs, and they went out quite a bit this year. Kind of don't like them because you tell the people the price and they're like, what, for a chair? I'm like, it's a huge freaking chair. Yeah. They're all right. It depends on your area. Someone I had on the channel, I forget his name. He does a lot of throne chairs. He's down in North Carolina, I think, kind of near a big city. So it depends on your area. If you see a bunch of people with throne chairs around you, go ahead. They're going to go out. And if that's all you're doing, throw them in your pickup truck, deliver 2 throne chairs, make $500. It's a pretty good deal.
I've contemplated on getting somebody with a Santa suit and just renting it out too, because I've heard people doing that. They get the throne chair and then they rent out costumes as well. And they don't. I know people that only do holiday costumes. They don't do a lot of theme costumes or anything like that. So you just rent the chair out with, get a white chair. Rent out a Santa's chair, put some red on it, and blah, blah, blah. Rent out Santa with them at the parties, book it a bunch, and then use that chair in Easter or whenever for whatever reason you can.
Right. I think you would do good with throne chairs in your area.
I tried buying yours. I thought somebody was asking for a rental for one of yours. I was like, oh, I'll buy this.
Yeah, well, every time I decide I'm going to buy them, then the office manager books them. And I'm like, well, I can't sell it for 6 months. And then it gets rented out a bunch more times. So his name was Bobby Hutch and his company was Pomposh. So Bobby, if you watch this later, sorry, I forgot. Let's see. Here we go. I'm promoting my Patreon for a second. Is there a reference for seating capacity for different sizes of tents? So yeah, you could do a Google search. A lot of them kind of like are off. So I have this program called PartyCAD. Bought it. This one guy made it, bought it. The guy recently passed away and some other company bought it up. So I don't know how much it is now. You can just build a custom thing for people, or you can just, what we do is we just build like 10 different variations of a size tent with different seating arrangements in there, and then just send the people those. Because I don't like doing individual diagrams for people, because then they call you back and say, can you move this chair 10 feet this way? Or can you remove this table? And you end up doing it 20 times for them, and it sucks. So we just make 10, 15 different things in this tent, send it to them and say, hey, this is just reference. This just shows you what can be done. So it's I think it was like $1,000 program. I forget. But I made a whole crap ton of diagrams and put them up on my Patreon page. So whatever level Patreon you are, 3, 12, or 50, you have access to all those diagrams. You can just download. I left where you would put your logo blank, so you could put your own logo in there, and you could do the same thing. Someone asks for a 20 by 40, just send them all the 20 by 40 diagrams and say, this is just for reference. You can kind of see what's up.
I was a member of your Patreon for a while. Very much helped me.
Good, you were. Yep. And then when we became friends, I was like, okay, you can stop paying me. Right. But
probably would have done it anyways.
Right. Yeah. No. With the question earlier, we're about to put up 8 40 by 80 pole tents and 3 60 by 90 pole tents, all going to be up for 3 weeks. They will start going up tomorrow in freezing rain and 20-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, it's going to suck for you, but 40 by 80s and 60 by 40 wides and 60 wides, those for 3 weeks are going to be fine. To anyone who is wondering, I had a 40 by 60 up all summer, and it was fine. I barely checked on it. Here we go. You can get a free trial PartyCAD for like 30 days. So that's what I first did in the beginning. I got the 30-day trial, and I just went crazy making diagrams all for everything that I could think of. And then I bought it a few years later. So yeah, download the PartyCAD for 30 days and just make every single diagram of every single tent you could possibly imagine, and just save them all, and then you can send those to people. But so PartyCAD is also a very useful tool for if you just hire an office manager who just answers the phones and has actually never been out on the field to set up a tent. The first year, my office manager, he would do a diagram for every tent basically, so that he knew that he was giving the customer the right tent, made sure that all the tables and chairs and dance floor and everything fit under it. And then he knew confidently that that's what they needed, and he wasn't shortchanging them. So PartyCAD is even cool for the office people, just to make sure that they're giving the customer the right thing. Oof, excuse me.
Yeah, people just want what they want for the most part. They don't know what they want. I mean, when they call, people they don't know what they need.
No, they think they need a 30 by 60 for 200 people. And then you're like, definitely not happening. And then your office manager can start building a 30 by 60 for 200 people, because he doesn't know what they need either. And then he can see like, well, this is not going to fit. We need to go up to a 40 by 100 or whatever. And it helps if you hired someone that's never been out in the field, that helps them get the customer the right thing. Did you ever get your wedding venue up and running? That's where we are heading, hence all the odd questions. Oh, so my Airbnb wedding venue thing, we had to change the way we're going to do things. I wanted to put up a 40 by 100 structure tent and rent them the tent, the tables and chairs, the Airbnb, all for like 12 or 13,000 for a Thursday through Monday. But everyone who came on a meeting was like, well, we don't need a tent that big. We don't want it Thursday through Monday. We only want it Saturday. That's why we got to pay so much if we only need it Saturday and we need less of a tent. Everyone didn't like the vision. My vision was you get it from Thursday through Monday. There's no stress. You're with your family. You have all the tables you need, whether they're round or rectangle. You have everything you need, but everyone's price conscientious. So we have the Airbnb, and people can rent the Airbnb. And on the listing, we say we also allow events. So we have 2 spaces for tents. So all next year, we've got tents there a lot through my rental company. So it is up, but it's not a venue. It's just an Airbnb that allows events, and they can rent a tent.
You changed it from 3 to 2?
What do you mean?
I thought you had 3 places for put tents.
No, I have 2 places to put tents, and the dining room holds 50 people. So if you only got 50 people wedding, you can have it inside, and then there's 2 places for tents. So we had to change it all, and it's actually going a lot more smoother, and we're getting a lot more people to book a wedding.
I make more money.
They have options.
Make some more money that way too, probably.
Yeah. The only problem is we require them to stay from Thursday through Monday because we want them to have time on Friday to set up, and we want them to clean on Sunday. We tell them it's an Airbnb that allows events. It's not a staff venue. This is all on you. And a lot of people push back on that because they only want it for their one day. And I say, no, this is like if you were having it at your house. You need time to set up and you need time to clean. You're not checking out at 11 a.m. on Sunday and leaving garbage everywhere. You need it to make it look like there was never a party. So good. I hope you do well with your wedding venue. Leave in the comments right now if you can, like what your plan is and whatever. I'm sure when you say something like that, people want to know, what's up with it. Let's see. I work for a company in Mass. We have all wooden crossback chairs and Shivaris. I personally think they're junk. What's your opinion? Wood or aluminum? Resin, if you can. So if you have Shivari chairs or crossback chairs that is like walnut or natural wood or whatever, you kind of need wood because the resin or aluminum just does not look right. It's too fake looking. And yeah, the wood ones suck because they're always rubbing against each other. Even if you got the black chair covers over them, they're gonna rub against each other. Wood sucks, but if you got gold, silver, white, black, I would go resin. Because even if you take a knife to the resin, it's still gold. The aluminum, if you scratch the aluminum, if you scratch a gold aluminum, then it's going to be aluminum colored. But I did get some aluminum ones in from some companies to review, and they were pretty good. So I would say resin or aluminum. Wood, don't get gold or black or white in wood. It's just going to suck. Just if you need to do wood, just stick to those natural. They're supposed to be wood, and do everything else resin or aluminum. But I forgot that I only wanted to do these for like 20 minutes. We're at like 43 minutes. So any last minute question? Whoever types the next question, we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, everyone
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. I don't like saying that kind of stuff.
You don't like saying it? I like saying it. I don't have any subscription. I don't have any subscribers.
Right.
Gotta promote yourself. We're giving out that knowledge for free. We're doing it for the cause. Well, it doesn't really help us. It just helps us show more people.
Well, we were talking that one day, and we finally got to the root of my philosophy. I have a YouTube channel. I want to make YouTube videos, but I don't want to be a YouTube personality. Yeah. So whenever there's like, hey guys, or I don't get too crazy with the YouTube because I'm not a YouTube personality. I'm just a douchebag who makes YouTube videos. So that's why I don't like.
I'm all over the place. If you guys want to blow me up to 1 million views, I'm down for it. But for the most part, I'm just doing bounce house stuff.
Right. Oh my God, Randy. Have you made any blocks with the mold?
Oh.
I know. I've had Randy's mold for way too long. I feel so bad about it. I'm making
burn.
I ordered the concrete. It's gonna get dropped off with a truck and pallet. I just ordered a whole bunch of concrete instead of going to Lowe's or whatever. So I'm making them. My last tank goes up and comes down this weekend. I'm making them, and then I'm bringing back your mold. I'm sorry. He was so nice and let me borrow his mold, and I've had it for way too
It's
long.
been sitting for so long, it's probably covered in mold.
Right? No. And then Buddy Murray just asks, "Do I do farm tables in my area?" Yes, they go out like crazy because I'm in the Adirondack region, and they're nice and rustic. They suck, but they go out.
Find a place to put them. I would definitely have some farm tables right now. They're good money makers.
Yeah, I started out with them at 125, and no one was renting them, so I dropped them down to 90. Okay, Randy's gonna pick them up in the spring. Perfect. I'll take you out to dinner this time, Randy. Real quick before we go, because I wanted to know this about his venue. These are for our near future endeavors. We're debating on buying an existing space, building a space, or just doing an outdoor venue with tents. I like the outdoor venue with tents. Depends on your municipality. You may have to build a bathroom building. If you want people to spend the night in like camping tents or some sort of glamping tents that you put up, you may also have to have like a shower there. You could alternatively just buy a restroom trailer, like a really big one that has showers in it, but that's not as cool as having like a nice building with bathrooms and showers in it. So like if I bought a piece of property and wanted to have campers, just like, your whole family comes and 50 people are in tents and you have glamping tents that you rent out to, they would make me have to have a bathroom building and with a shower in there. So it depends on your municipality.
I've thought about actually doing a pavilion on land just for like, say you're doing a big family reunion or cookout, right? But then have like some power along like the fence line or something like that, so that you could plug a bunch of inflatables in or do a whole venue or event there, and you know what I mean, right. Have some parking maybe on one side and stuff like that, so you can do like 100-person venue or event easily.
Yeah, there's this dude near me. He built a pavilion, but it was like $100,000 pavilion. It all had like really nice ceilings. Everything was it wasn't just like post and beam metal roof. It is a beautiful pavilion. And then he made a system to put tent sidewalls up on it. So he can enclose it if he wants, and it looks good. And he books weddings there all the time.
I've seen systems for tent sidewalls. They do this at this place in like Alexandria that like do like the Maple Tree Inn or something like that. They do maple syrup and like their own slaughtered hogs and stuff like that. But they have like their own tent sidewalls going up and down the whole thing. It was like secure. I thought it was a walkway to keep the rain from, because there's line out the door all the time. This place is crazy.
Right. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Next week, I don't know what the topic's going to be yet. We kind of come up with a topic on the fly. The topic is really just to occupy the time until people start asking questions. So we'll come up with that later, and another one next week. And then I'm going to try to get more people than this ugly guy on.
Yeah.
So next week I'll still have this ugly guy.
I'm just filler.
And then I'll probably start with like Lee and Les, and then I'll try to get a whole bunch of other people. But you guys, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for the support. He's pissed because he joined in too late, but hey, we're here every Tuesday, buddy.
If you don't know, Justin from Party Rental Knowledge, come check out the channel.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, and have a good night.
Bye.
See ya.